Imagine that your life is spent in an environment of total physical sensation. That every one of your senses has been heightened to a level that a human being might only be described as ecstatic.
Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of the Waffle Press Retrospective. I'm your host, Diego Crespo. With me today is my co-host, Matt Garingo.
Hi, that's me.
Hello, Matt. We haven't done this in a while.
No. They don't need to know that.
No, but I feel like we're dusting off the cobwebs for the season 2 finale of the failed blockbusters. This is an idea that stemmed from your genius brain, and we have now reached 2 years of failed blockbusters.
Yeah.
We have a different episode today. This is the season finale talking about Day of the Dolphin, a Mike Nichols film from 1973. But also we're gonna talk about the Munsters a little bit because we have to. I'm gonna mention it up top because I know the conversation is gonna go there because we've both seen it and a lot of people are talking about it for better or worse.
I was so ready to let you talk about Day of the Dolphin for 5 minutes, and then immediately just pivot to the Munsters.
Well, there's stuff to talk about with Day of the Dolphin.
Yeah, there's a dolphin in it.
There are 2 dolphins in it.
Yeah.
Which I did not know. I thought, all right. So we got to backtrack a little bit. When did you first hear about Day of the Dolphin?
I've known about Day of the Dolphin for a while. It's just one of those movies that you kind of hear about, and then you're like, that's not a real movie. And then I didn't bother to watch it for the longest time. So I know Polanski almost did it.
Yes.
It's one of those movies that gets lost in the post Sharon Tate murder,
Yeah.
Where he dropped a bunch of projects to kind of take a break for a little bit.
Yeah. Piece of shit guy.
Yeah.
But horrible tragedy.
Yeah. Thankfully, he never went on to do anything awful after that. But
if you see him walking around France, it is your civil duty to. I was gonna say something.
Yeah, I heard the word building, and then I was like, "Hey, maybe don't say that." Polanski's still alive, right?
Yeah, he unfortunately.
That's wild.
There you go. That's the most I'll say.
All right, he's 89 years old.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
That's how Woody Allen is almost 100.
What the fuck?
At least Woody Allen announced his retirement.
No, he people from his team, he has a team still somehow, put out a statement that said, no, that was a misrepresentation. That was a misquote.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So he still wants to make stuff. And
Polanski has a movie coming out this year.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
The Palace.
You Europeans and your perverts. Jesus Christ.
It's got Mickey Rourke and John Cleese.
Oh my God.
So...
John... I know. John Cleese has been ass out.
Yeah, John
that
Cleese has been psychotic. Oh, he did Carnage. I forgot he did Carnage.
Let There Be Carnage?
No, which would be kind of amazing.
Yeah, just on principle, that would be worth checking out.
A post-scandal Roman Polanski adaptation of the character Carnage, the spin-off of Venom, who's a spin-off of Spider-Man. Carnage... is the one room it's a stage play, one room drama about 2 kids got in a fight at school, so the parents decide to meet to discuss it, and it's one of those everything gets intense in this one room. It's Jodie Foster, Kate Winslet, Christoph Waltz, and John C. Reilly were all in it.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah.
It sucks when you trace who's worked with Polanski or maybe signed a petition for him. If you ever want to get really depressed, look for your favorite artists on that petition.
Didn't someone come out and say, I never signed that petition and my name is always on there? And they're like, I don't know how my name got on there.
Oh, really? What the fuck?
I remember that being a thing. There's so much weird shit around Polanski. Because there's also, you can find that interview of Tarantino, I think, on the Stern Show being that girl later admitted she was lying. Which just isn't true.
Yeah.
And it's but I think that was just accepted in Hollywood for the longest time. And there's that documentary about Polanski. Did you ever see that, Wanted and Desired?
No. What a fucking title. Good lord.
Yeah, it's
Jesus.
Yeah, it's a really interesting, and they interview the victims of the assault in it. And she tells a pretty, and also it's one of those like classic ones where like Polanski like admitted he did it. Like he gave an interview to the cops where like he's like, yeah, I did it. Like he doesn't realize he's committed rape. You know, it's like that. Like a lot of rapists don't really get it. Like where he's like, yeah, you know, whatever. Like it's very direct, and it's just a weird documentary. But yeah, that was around the time he got arrested. Remember, he got arrested at one point. They were trying to extradite him.
Yeah.
And then that didn't happen for whatever reason. Hey.
Fucking Europe, what the fuck? Get it together, man.
Is there hey, someone point me out, because Carnage is based on the play God of Carnage. I know that James Gandolfini was in a stage production of it. And I know there are bootleg copies of stage productions out there. I know you can find them. If someone has the bootleg of Gandolfini doing the God of Carnage, please let me know. I would love to see that.
All right, but for Day of the Dolphin, let's track back a little bit.
So Polanski almost does it. Since the scandal, Polanski has made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 movies.
Oh my god.
Including The Ninth Gate with everyone's favorite guy, Johnny Depp.
Oh my god.
And The Pianist, the Holocaust movie where Adrian Brody acted like an asshole throughout the whole press of that thing.
I still haven't seen that one, frankly.
He did an adaptation of Oliver Twist. The Ghost Rider. I've never seen that. I haven't seen anything post Scandal. Like,
I've actually heard Ghost Rider's quite good, but like I have no interest to watch it. You know?
Yeah, well, that's like a lot of his movies are supposed to be good still. Like the debate is not, is he a bad director? You know?
Yeah.
It's that he's a criminal.
Yeah. Who admitted to his crime again?
Yeah.
I feel like I should reiterate that.
Yeah. And yeah. Did he ever make one of those movies where like a lot of those guys will make the movie where it's like they will make a movie about a wrongly accused person after they were accused of a sex crime?
Oh, I don't know, but I feel like he's got one in his back pocket if he hasn't already.
Like Woody Allen has that one movie about the guy who like committed a murder and like what it feels like to walk around knowing you committed a crime like that.
Jesus.
And it's like, that's a weird one for you to do, Woody Allen.
Goodness.
So Woody Allen's not retiring.
No, he's not retiring. He's going to keep trying to work.
But I think, I'm guessing what that statement really is that Woody Allen finally can't get financing for his movies.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, it used to be a thing where because so many people wanted to work with Woody Allen, he could always get like a certain budget because everyone would work for scale, and you put enough names on the poster, you can sell it to enough territories that people will give you like $5-10 million. You know?
Yeah, and like just the way the industry's moved on, like this isn't even a thing about either his quality of character or the quality of his films. Although it's worth noting, unlike Polanski, who people will go to bat for as an artist, even though he's a criminal, Woody Allen doesn't really have defenders anymore because his movies, the quality of his films were in decline before people had an understanding of his monstrous capabilities.
Although, unfortunately, I think he did hit like a kind of new high watermark with Blue Jasmine. I really loved Blue Jasmine, and then like the more stories came out after that, and then that was when I was like, oh, I'm done with Woody Allen.
Yeah, I remember liking that one. I loved Midnight in Paris.
Yeah, Midnight in Paris is really good.
I loved Midnight in Paris, and that's when, after that, I was like, that's when the stuff started to be more understood.
But also, he also directed the worst movie ever made, which is Manhattan.
People like Manhattan.
People like Manhattan.
I'm not one of those people.
When people go, what's the worst movie ever made? And they're like Plan 9 from Outer Space, or The Room, or like a Serbian film or something like that.
Captain America Civil War.
Captain America Civil War. You know, all the usual contenders. it's like, oh, is it Manhattan by Woody Allen? No, then you're wrong. Like,
what about the Lorax?
It's worse. Manhattan by Woody Allen is the worst movie ever made.
Okay.
It's, if you make a list, we're gonna put all the films on it. It's Manhattan by Woody Allen is the worst film ever made. So,
you know, there's no scientific way of disagreeing with that.
There really isn't.
It's a factual truth.
People defend that fucking movie.
Yeah, people like it. People like Woody Allen's golden era.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
No. Hey, maybe ask why his kids don't talk to him apart from the one that he married.
Yeah,
anyways.
that's so weird that like happened.
Yeah,
and people like took his side.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Mia Farrow.
Yeah, it's not great. But who ended up directing this movie? It was Mike Nichols.
Mike Nichols, written by Buck Henry in their last collaboration.
Really?
Yeah, I believe this is the last movie they ever did together. Unless there's like stories of Buck Henry like pinch hitting on like as like an uncredited writer on like Charlie Wilson's War or some shit. Like,
Charlie Wilson's War was his last movie, right? Mike Nichols?
Yeah.
Dang.
Not a great one to go out on.
No. But I mean, you fucking do The Graduate and it's like, all right, yeah. you get a pass for a while.
The last few of Mike Nichols, I've never seen Closer though. Have you seen Closer?
I'd never seen Closer. I did finally watch The Birdcage. I like The Birdcage.
Birdcage is very funny, very good. Primary Colors is solid, but also is kind of like very like Clinton era political satire.
I remember liking Wolf a lot. I think I brought that up in the podcast.
You might be the only person that likes Wolf.
I remember. Well, I saw it was a TNT movie for me back in the day.
Yeah.
So maybe it doesn't hold up, but I remember being like just fucking captivated.
It is one of those movies. Like, I'll give you that. Like, it definitely kind of like, at least the first half is like, wow, this is interesting, and then it's like, oh wait, no. Mm-hmm. But he also like he did What Planet Are You From? The fucking Gary Shandling movie, which was like one of those movies where like a day one into production, Mike Nichols and Gary Shandling like started hating each other.
Yeah,
like so it like just didn't go well. That's one of those comedy. That's back in that era where a comedy could cost $60 million.
Yeah. Like, right, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but, like, you know, there's a big discourse about Bros right now, the movie from the...
Did everyone turn on Billy Eichner? What happened? I wasn't paying attention.
I think he's... This is not my lane. I'm quoting what I've seen, okay?
All right.
But as a white gay who is a big spotlight, I think he's turned a lot of people off. He's got some Billy on the Street segments, which are generally, I find, very funny. I think when he runs up against people of color on there, some people were criticizing him about maybe being too obnoxious and not reading signals that people don't want to be talking to him. And in the press run up to Bros, I think he comes across as like he's making the first openly gay film, or at least romantic comedy. And I think a lot of people were like, in the film community anyways, were a little more hesitant to come out and support him because it's like, well, queer cinema's been around for decades, but basically as long as the industry.
Yeah, but
I think that's what.
Is it like the first studio release gay romantic comedy? Like wide release?
I believe so. I think technically the second, but the first one was the Kristen Stewart Mackenzie Davis one.
Oh yeah, but
and that got sold to Hulu during COVID. Yada yada yada. Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically
like
the first one.
I get queer cinema, but like he would have a point, I think, with wide because like they are not trying to do mainstream male on male gay relationships.
No, they're not.
They'll do lesbians. They won't do gays. Like.
Yeah. And to his credit too, like the film isn't filled with stars. It could be because there's so few like LGBT stars allowed, to become stars. It's filled with other queer actors.
Okay.
So like that, good on him for that. I'm not wading into that discourse. I'm just saying that like, it didn't cost that much to make that movie, and it still like bombed. It was only like $22 million. That's like that sounds about right for.
Why wasn't it released during Pride? Like
that's a very good question.
Maybe that's a little tacky, but
and hey, maybe at the very least a Valentine's Day release.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe don't release it during the Halloween season where you've got horror movies coming out every weekend for the next 2 months. Yeah, I don't know.
That seems like a bad release strategy.
Yeah, that's on the studio. That's not on the creative team for that one. Obviously,
yeah.
That's just
the money part doesn't matter. And from what I've heard, the movie's fine. Like,
yeah. Here's the thing: Nicholas Stoller directed the Neighbors movies. I think those are super underrated. And Storks, which I think is like one of the great American animated comedies of the last 10 years. I don't know if you've seen it. It's very good.
It's very good. But he also directed Get Him to the Greek.
I don't remember that one.
It's the unofficial sequel to Forgetting Sarah Marshall, or like it's official, but like because it's the same rock star guy.
Right. Russell Brand. What's he up to?
Yeah.
Ba-dum-bum.
Yeah. All I remember is I think they do like they give Jonah Hill gets like an adrenaline shot in that movie because that was in like every trailer.
Oh, okay. Oh, because of Pulp Fiction, right? It's like the joke. It's like the joke from the movie.
So he's like, I'm alive. That was in every fucking trailer for that movie. He also did a movie called The 5-Year Engagement, which I can't imagine even is a real movie.
It is. It feels like 5 years when you're watching it. That's the joke everyone's made about the movie, but I'm going to make it again because I bet you forgot it existed if you're listening to this, didn't you? You did.
The popular reviews are mostly positive. So
I think everyone's on a different planet.
But I guess it's just a movie that most people just haven't seen.
Yeah. But anyways, so Mike Nichols and all these other people are coming from a different era where you can get budgets for movies, which is even funnier that Day of the Dolphin has a budget less than that of Working Girl, Mike Nichols' 1988 American romantic comedy.
Yeah.
Starring Sigourney Weaver and Harrison Ford. It's a good movie.
Yeah, Working Girl's a good movie.
Yeah.
I think most Mike Nichols movies are good. It's just he's got weird ups and downs.
Yeah. I mean, he did Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
He's responsible for J.J. Abrams.
Oh my God, he did Regarding Henry.
Yep. Regarding Henry, credited to a Jeffrey Abrams.
Oh my God. So if you got problems with J.J. Abrams, Mike Nichols, I'm coming for your grave.
Is Regarding Henry good? I remember putting it on once and I fell asleep.
I don't think it is. Well, here's the fucking thing. Here's the fucking thing about J.J. Abrams.
That's a great title, though.
Here's the fucking thing about J.J. Abrams. Or Regarding Henry.
Both. I mean,
here's the fucking thing. He's not untalented. He's a quality director. He's a solid writer. He has structure, pacing, and occasional ideas. He can do visual ideas very well. What you don't do is you don't let him guide a franchise. You get him to do one movie, and that's it. That's why something like Joyride fucking rocks. You know, he wrote the screenplay to that, and it's a solid-ass movie.
Is he
still get him to do like one movie and that's it?
Is he still doing Superman?
I don't fucking know.
Like I feel like all the Warner Brothers shit feels like it's just in eternal limbo for the time being. Yeah.
Although I think if they get the right team together for the next Superman movie when all this shared universe shit dies down more, I think that's gonna be like it's gonna remind people if it works, it'll remind people that Superman's like the real deal.
Yeah. But here's the thing right now though is that like there's all the talks that like Warner Brothers is essentially collapsing, right? And Universal wants to buy Warner Brothers. And because of weird laws, like they can't actually place a bid for 2 years because like of the like you have to let the Discovery Warner merger like sit for a little bit, right? So there's like there's a date where Warner Brothers can finally make the bid and try to buy Warner's Discovery. Right. So that means, let's say, if you are someone who's being brought in to work on a franchise film at Warner Brothers, like, do you want to bite that bullet? Because if Warner Brothers just gets sold to Universal, there's a good to fair chance that your project, if it hasn't been made by that point, gets canceled, right? Yeah. Or if it has gotten made, your sequel gets canceled. Like, So like they're in a weird spot.
Yeah. So, unless you're fucking Batman, then you're okay.
Are they still have not decided what to do with the Flash movie yet, right?
No, it's radio silence right now.
It's radio.
Funny enough, I think it was the last episode we did where I mentioned the quote from one of the Warner Brother Flash producers, and they were like, "All's good in Flashtown," and then it was like, "Oh, actually, there are more crimes."
Mm-hmm.
And Ezra Miller, they came out and apologized, and they said they're getting help. And now it's just silence. I'm hoping, I'm betting that they're hoping it all goes away. And that's not going to happen when you've done crimes like that. Well,
since the last time we've recorded, the stock has dropped further. So,
oh, right. I was about to ask about that. I was like, wait a second. We didn't check about that.
But what I'm saying, so like Michael Keaton is supposed to be in the Flash movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and there's like right now they're like shelving a ton of shit over there for tax reasons, right?
Right.
So if they shelve the Flash, which is entirely possible, I think it's entirely within the realm of possibility, that means that we brought Michael Keaton back to play Batman twice, and it's just going on a shelf. We'll never see it. Like, that's insane.
Streets are saying that he will no longer play the Vulture because he's tired of that runaround bullshit. And he's getting a little frustrated with the Batman stuff again.
No fucking shit. Like,
yeah. Can't imagine fucking why.
Can't imagine, yeah. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
fucking...
It's just wild to think about.
It's incredibly wild. It's all very fucking wild. I wonder what Mike Nichols will make of all this. I don't know how we got
I think the point I'm trying to make is that we should just train dolphins to run studios. They would probably do about as well.
You know what? That
actually is fantastic. That's a South Park joke. I just ripped off a South Park joke without even realizing it.
Oh, that's right.
The dolphins that write Family Guy.
I don't fucking know shit about South Park anymore, but I remembered that. Mm-hmm. That's so fucking funny.
And you can't take a single ball out of the tank, or they will stop writing ideas.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but you know what? Every once in a while, South Park hits the nail on the head. So maybe we should just do that.
Maybe, yeah. It works about as well.
Yeah. What do we make next? Dolphins? It's like, oh, you do Matt Reeves, Batman, trilogy. There you go. All right.
Hey! Also reminds me, remember the robots, the studio executive robots on Futurama?
No, but I never watched Futurama as much, remember?
Where it was like the one robot just rolls dice to choose the primetime lineup. Like,
you know what? Yeah.
He just rolls dice and he's like, game shows are back. Like,
yeah, that sounds accurate.
That seems to be about right.
Actually, that sounds incredibly accurate because that's really popular on YouTube and on Netflix right now. So
yeah.
What the fuck?
Game shows?
Game shows, yeah. Like, there's a whole other, that your Two Americas thing.
Yeah.
There's a whole other world of like reality television on Netflix, which I'm like, it's not like, what the fuck? And then game shows with those reality TV contestants.
Yeah. It's a weird industry, but also
hey, congrats on everyone getting the bag, though. I'm not just saying that because maybe I have someone in that part of the industry, but congrats, everyone. But I have no negative feelings about them.
I wonder if, because like everyone's trying to pivot to reality television because it's cheaper and it does better numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like reality television is the thing you put on when you're working from home,
Mm-hmm.
Like, how often do you actually sit down watch reality television,
Yeah.
Like, you don't... So, I feel like a lot of these streaming services are pivoting, but, like, is it going to bring anyone to the service? Like, yes, if I'm, like, scrolling through Netflix and I see some show, like a reality show about building tree houses or something, and it's like, I guess this will work as background noise while I do whatever, like... I could see that, like, giving a boost to the numbers, but, like, if you're not making money through advertising, what does it matter?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not a reality TV guy, never have been. Before I had outright negative feelings about it, and now I have mixed feelings about it. So, growth. I put on, like, Planet Earth and shit. Like, I like documentaries. Not to be, like, all pretentious and shit. I just like Earth and nature a lot.
And there is a market for good reality television. I just think, though, I always say that, like, it's such a shame that we don't teach basic film literacy in school. Because I think the moment you understand how editing works, like, 90% of reality shows just fall apart.
Yeah.
Like the moment you're aware of how editing works. And most people just don't know it, and they don't understand it. Mm-hmm. And so, like, yeah.
Well, something real depressing I've been seeing on Twitter lately. And it's younger people. There's, like, no names I can name. It's clearly, like, people that are, like, in their teens and shit like that saying, but they're, like, you know, when there's rightful criticism about how certain franchises and blockbuster films operate, you know, there's plenty to critique about film form and technique. And then you'll have these young kids commenting and replying like, well, no one goes to these movies for, like, editing and cinematography. And it's like, you young fool, you go to every movie for editing and cinematography along with a million other things that make the movie. Yeah. You just don't realize it yet. Because we don't teach it here.
Yeah, but I think a big part of that is just that, like, the Marvel films are such about, like, the communal experience of going to the movie, you know? Yeah. Which is just, like, capitalism has eroded all community. So,
yes.
Like, it's...
I mean, there's a fucking great piece in I think the LA Times last week where it was, like, talking about how, hey, it actually deteriorates your quality of life, health, and psychological health if you are cut off from communities, have to work all the time, can't afford healthcare, and it's like, yeah, no shit, we all know.
Yeah, we all know.
Like, it's good that it's in, like, the public sphere now, like, from a publication. But we know, so let's do something about it.
But we're also desperate for community. It explains a lot of the weird behavior these days.
Yes, yes, it does. I mean, I think that's why even, like, capitalism's trying to like manufacture these digital communities because they can control that easier.
Yeah.
Because the communities have already been kind of disbanded in, like, the real world already. You know, like, LA's not. There's no walkable shit here. I have to drive to places that I find walkable with friends. You know how fucking hard it is to just, like, walk around and take pictures. Even you know, it's like it's miserable.
Yeah.
I have fun with it once I finally find a nice spot, but, you know, I'm mostly going to, like, piers and stuff like that. Like, it's just, it's not, like, habitable the same way. Mm-hmm. Also, piers, ocean, dolphin. I just got a couple more points to make about Day of the Dolphin.
So, Day of the Dolphin, we haven't even said what the plot of this movie is.
I'm just going to read the Letterboxd one, because the movie
let me read
not
the poster.
Reveal its plot.
Let me read the poster for
Day
of the Dolphin.
Yes.
Unwittingly, he trained a dolphin to kill the President of the United States.
It is maybe the single greatest poster tagline in the history of planet Earth.
Joseph E. Levine presents George C. Scott in a Mike Nichols film, The Day of the Dolphin.
It's the greatest poster ever made. Matt, did you like this movie?
No, it's pretty boring.
It's so fucking
boring.
I was so disappointed.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So fucking boring.
I gotta tell you how we ended up here, because Diego, we were like, he kept adding movies to the list of shit to do, and, like, last minute I threw out Zardoz, and it's like, all right, let's do Zardoz. And then Diego's like, we gotta do Day of the Dolphin. And I was like, you want to do Day of the Dolphin? And he was like, yeah, we gotta do Day of the Dolphin. I'm like, oh, Diego must have a take on Day of the Dolphin I just haven't thought about. Like, because I had not seen Day of the Dolphin. And I kind of heard it wasn't that good. So I was like, Diego must have something. And then I guess
I do have something.
That it's crushingly boring.
It's so boring. No, I have other stuff, but it's so boring. It broke my heart. It did break my heart a little bit.
The actual blowing up the boat at the end of the movie was actually, like, really good. Like, that was, like, the one part I really liked.
It is 104 minutes long. It feels twice that length. Mm-hmm. There's no, like, look, movies used to be paced differently before, and I understand that. You and I both understand that. The first hour of this movie, roughly, is kind of spinning its wheels. And when you're making, like a slow burn type thriller, which this is trying to be in a way, which is hilarious, you still need to have, like, meaningful character interactions.
Yeah.
You need to like slowly ratchet up the tension because like the B plot that becomes the A plot, the political conspiracy to assassinate the president of the United States, doesn't really become pivotal until like that hour mark, and even then it's like it's kind of building in the background every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the focus is on George C. Scott and Trisha Van Devere as Dr. Jake Terrell and Maggie Terrell, respectively. What I really like about the movie is that the dolphin stuff is really cute, and I love dolphins so much, even though they're horrible monster animals.
Yes, they're kind of awful in reality, but
yes,
we
they're
think they're
evil
smart.
creatures. They're evil creatures. But here they're so cute. There's a dolphin named Alpha, as in Fa. That's the nickname, and then Beta is a female dolphin named Bea, and it's so sweet the relationship they have with George
And they
Scott.
teach them to talk.
Teach them how to talk and communicate, in a broken language, but like they can communicate with them. And the whole film is I'm gonna spoil a little bit about Day of the Dolphin. Sorry, everyone who hasn't seen Day of the Dolphin, which is most of you because it's not streaming anywhere.
It's not streaming anywhere, and I kind of understand like why no one's rushing to get the Day of the why bother.
I would get this. I need to be clear. I'm going to buy this poster and hang it in front of my computer.
It is a great poster, but it promises a much different film.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yeah. The Letterboxd poster also promises a much different film. It looks like George C. Scott is running with like a gun.
Yeah.
In like Scooby. Like what the fuck? That's not in the movie.
I don't think so. Yeah. What's the problem with a lot of like science fiction films like this where I don't know the book, so maybe the book is like genius.
Oh yeah, this is also based on a book, Day of the Dolphin by Robert Merle.
Mm-hmm.
I've never read that.
Is it a French book or
it's
something
a French book.
Yeah. Yeah, so like a lot of those books it'll have like one-note characters because the book is more about exploring the science fiction concept, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like a smart author will add like a note to kind of play out, which I think this movie has, but not like anything that dynamic. And then it's hard to translate that into an engaging movie, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's because you're just watching a guy do experiments with dolphins. Yeah. And we also benefit from living in an age where if we want to watch dolphins doing crazy shit, we can just go to YouTube. Mm-hmm. Like, so like maybe watching dolphins do tricks like this was kind of amazing in '73.
Yeah, I think the dolphin photography is pretty good.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah. And I like underwater photography. But yeah, it just never really gets there. There's like all sorts of like weird intrigue that's just not that engaging. Mm-hmm. It's weird that it's written by Buck Henry. It's weird that it's like it's Mike Nichols, Buck Henry teaming up again after, you know, The Graduate and Catch-22, which are like both comedies essentially, like, and then Day of the Dolphin, and they put no wit into it whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Like there's nothing here that's like even it's like no, this is our premise and we're taking it seriously.
Yeah.
And it's that weird like did people in the 70s really think we could teach dolphins to talk? Like, they don't have lips. Like, they can't talk. Like, you need certain anatomical body parts in order to talk. Like, and
but ultimately, much like The Hulk, one of our earlier retrospectives, it's a film that understands that the science community will be taken advantage of by American military might.
Yeah.
And the two, man and nature cannot coexist peacefully under those dynamics.
Yeah.
And the end of the film, I got to be honest, actually did get me a little bit. I wasn't like crying or anything like that, but I was like, "This is sad." He's
got to tell him to go away, and they don't understand.
He's got to white fang the dolphins.
Yeah, because they're dolphins.
Yeah, and it's sad. The dolphin's like crying out because it's sad it has to leave its father, and like. And then it just ends on a scene of George Scott and Trish Van Devere sitting solemnly on a beach before the government agents come to arrest them, I guess, and figure out what happened. The rest of the plot of the film. But the rest of it's so boring. Like I can't recommend this.
George C. Scott does give a good performance for what it is. Like, I don't know.
He's so committed.
I don't know if you cast him as the guy who's like, yeah, I'm gonna train dolphins. Like, I don't know if that's George C. Scott's vibe, but he commits to it.
Yeah, he was so fucking great. And I just thought, like, if they did a sequel, have him play like the role the same way he plays the fucking cop in Exorcist 3.
Yeah,
you know, just that really fucking intense. The dolphins like
when he yells at him at the
shut
end.
Your mouth!
When he yells at him at the end, that's kind of when the intensity comes out.
Yeah.
Also, Paul Sorvino, the late great Paul Sorvino.
Yeah.
I liked his character in this, like where you don't really know what side he's on for a little bit, like, and I liked that was kind of interesting. But there's not a ton here, and you're just gonna end up feeling sad because you feel bad for the fucking dolphins, like.
Yeah.
They didn't ask to be taught how to attach bombs to the bottom of boats. Like, they, you know. But yeah, I mean, there's like a nugget of an idea here. And this is like post-Nixon, post-Watergate shit. Like, of just like real deep cynicism about everything in America. And yeah, so I don't know. Not a great film. I don't know what attracted Mike Nichols or Buck Henry to this.
I think
other than the military thing, because like that is kind of an extension of Catch-22, you know. But yeah, then they never collaborate, and I think Buck Henry doesn't do much after this. And Buck Henry's weird. He's also dead. But
I think like all these people are dead. Everyone involved with this movie is dead.
Buck Henry died fairly recently.
He
died 2 years ago. Okay, so but he also hadn't worked in like as a writer since I think the 90s. His last credited movie for as a writer was Town and Country. Do you know Town and Country?
I don't.
That is the incredibly bizarre. That was also like the last movie Warren Beatty did for a long time. It was like a weird like sex comedy film that's budget somehow ballooned to $90 million.
Jeez.
And it took like 3 years to get made.
Good
and it was
Lord.
it was like a disaster. It's like a notorious disaster. As AV Club has a great quote about that I think about it all the time. It says it's the rare movie that can't decide whether it wants to be Freddy Got Fingered or Hannah and Her Sisters.
Jesus Christ.
That might be a film blockbuster because it made $10 million on a $90 million budget.
Yeah, Day of the Dolphin is also a bomb critically and commercially, and I think Mike Nichols did it because his other stuff was bombing too.
Was it bombing? The Catch-22
Well, not bombing, but he wasn't like making money like Carnal Knowledge. Oh, you know what? Carnal Knowledge was a hit. Catch-22.
Catch-22 is kind of a bomb.
Yeah.
$24 million on an $18 million budget. Like, that's not...
Yeah. It's like he does The Graduate, which is just like a massive hit. Yeah. And then like he can't really get anything else going for a while. Even after the Day of the Dolphin, let me see. The Fortune, I don't think that was a hit. Gilda, no. Silkwood?
Silkwood was a hit.
Silkwood's a hit, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, was it financial or just like... I know
financial.
That was like
financial stuff, I think, was the
Heartburn,
big drawback.
Heartburn made money, which like wasn't received well in its time, but like I think people have come around to it. Yeah, he turns it around at a certain point in the 80s.
Yeah.
Postcards from the Edge, the Carrie Fisher written movie. Yeah, he had a fine run. It's weird though, like when you do Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf and The Graduate is your first two movies, like what the fuck, you know?
Yeah, it's
like,
kind of Ridley Scott syndrome, where it's like you come out the gate that fucking hard with Duelists, Alien, and Blade Runner. It's like,
you changed like the industry and culture back to back with two films.
Yeah,
like, you're never gonna recapture that, no matter how great your movies are after that. Like that's an impossible thing, and you did it twice. So
yeah,
I guess it makes sense that then he would be like, all right, I guess I'm doing Catch-22. Like, might as well try to adapt an unadaptable book. Like, I like his Catch-22 movie. I think it's solid for what it is. Great cast. Orson Welles in that too.
Yeah.
Apparently hard to work with. Believe it or not.
I don't know why that would be.
Here's the one line where the one guy answers some question he asks. Orson Welles is like, "The next time I want an answer out of you, I'll look at you, which will be as seldom as possible." There's some great. That's the one when they like all the men are like fucking out of their minds because there's a hot lady on the base and they haven't seen a woman in like however many months, and it's Orson Welles' assistant, and he's like, "Can't you see that a lady is present? Someone get her a chair." And like they just start like throwing chairs at the stage and like tackling each other to give her a chair. There's some good stuff in that movie.
Yeah. I like Catch-22.
The next sound of word of man will be shot.
Matt, if people could track down Day of the Dolphin, would you recommend it?
If you like find it in a dollar store bin, maybe it's fine unless you're like a Mike Nichols completist. There's some good underwater photography. It's like I can't believe this is a movie. It could only be made in the 70s.
Yeah, I have a Blu-ray copy of it for this, and then eventually I found because we were
some maniac release it on 4K.
Oh no! It's just traditional Blu-ray. Although it does have special features. I got an audio commentary by film historians Howard S. Berger and Nathaniel Thompson, interviews with screenwriter Buck Henry and actors Leslie Charleston and Edward Herman, a radio spot. That's how old this fucking shit is, and a theatrical trailer. That's it. It's from Kino Lorber.
What about any footage of George C. Scott getting drunk during a production on Broadway?
Oh no.
There was some interview with Nathan Lane I saw not too long ago where he was asked about George C. Scott being drunk when they were on stage together, and Nathan Lane starts laughing so hard about it he can't get the words out to tell the story.
I think that was the Maron interview, right?
It might have been Maron,
yeah. Because I love Nathan Lane. I was kind of watching Only Murders in the Building because I heard Nathan Lane was in it. Yeah, I like this show, but I'm trying to get all the Nathan Lane I can because it's like Lane, not in a lot of stuff, you know.
Not a lot, but he's always great.
He's mostly a fucking Broadway guy, a play guy, which is totally fine.
He is now retired, I believe, from Broadway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. At least in the Criterion Closet video he did, he said he's done with musicals.
Okay.
So,
the more Nathan Lane, the merrier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's great. He's like the best part of movies that are like terrible. He played fucking F. Lee Bailey on The People vs. O.J.
Wait, really?
Yeah, that's wild.
Oh shit! Okay, I gotta watch that.
So if you want to see Nathan Lane saying the N-word like 3 times,
I don't know if I want to see that.
Yeah,
but...
that is one of the. I cannot believe people tried to defend The People vs. O.J. Simpson TV miniseries because there's that scene. They want to like, all right, how are we gonna make? Because like F. Lee Bailey's trying to get what's his name to lie on the record and say he never said the N-word, right? And like, which is a real thing that happened. And F. Lee Bailey is saying the N-word in court. And they decide to shoot it like it's a NASCAR race for some reason. Like the camera's constantly flying around the room. It's like, this is what the N-word does to people. And it's like, what the... That was the one I was on the phone. I was recovering from surgery and I put The People vs. O.J. on because why not? And I was talking on the phone with my friend Shannon. And there's the montage scene where they're trying to get rid of all the jurors, right? They're trying to figure out how to eliminate jurors that might not be favorable to OJ by like catching them or like driving them crazy and stuff like that. And they're playing a song underneath it, right?
Right.
And I go to Shannon, all right, take a guess. What song is playing during this montage? And she goes, Another One Bites the Dust. And I'm like, that's exactly right.
Oh my God.
It was like in an instant. Like,
so you'd recommend
that's
the O.J. Simpson
I recommend studying the entire body of work of Nathan Lane.
There you go.
Also find that clip of him where he talks about getting in a fight with Harvey Weinstein. That's a very funny story.
Oh yeah.
And hey, it was Max Bialystock.
Oh, you know what? That was like what was that? Jimmy Fallon or
it was Seth Meyers.
Seth Meyers, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Seth Meyers gets the more risque responses. Not like risque by modern standards, not real risque. Because I just remember that story. Nathan Lane's talking about how like even Hillary Clinton went up to him to kind of talk him down from making Harvey Weinstein jokes.
Yeah.
At, like something. And I was like, very pointed reference right there.
Yeah. He also said
that up.
He said something like, so Hillary came to see me. She got out of her coffin. Like one of those classic, like, Nathan Lane just throws in his zinger. So, yeah.
Nathan Lane's rocks. Nathan Lane's great. Nathan Lane is much better than Day of the Dolphin.
Yes.
Although I'd watch a remake starring him.
Fuck! Nathan Lane is in Disappointment Boulevard, the Ari Aster film, which means
why is that?
Now I have to see it.
I like Ari Aster.
Yeah, I know. I just rewatched Hereditary and Midsommar, and they were like, it's one of those movies where like I like these movies, but I also think I hate Ari Aster.
Oh, okay. Hereditary is just really upsetting to me.
He's credited as the second lead in Disappointment Boulevard.
Oh, that fucking rules.
That can't be right. That's just
oh
gotta
my
be like,
god. I hope that's true.
I hope, but goddamn.
If that's true, that's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, here's the last thing about Day of the Dolphin. This is the most important bit. All right.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 anecdotes from the IMDb trivia.
Okay.
The trained dolphins who played Alpha and Beta were actually named Buck for screenwriter Buck Henry and Ginger for dancer Ginger Rogers. And on the next to the last day of filming, when their parts were done, they escaped and never returned.
Whoa.
Yeah. But this is the most important one. On the 2019 episode of Conan, guest Tracy Morgan said this was his favorite film.
I heard that. Yeah, I did see that.
So I heard that before too. So shout out Tracy Morgan, and I don't know if this one's true, but he wants to star in a remake of it. Which I would love.
Do you remember for 5 minutes after Piranha came out, Piranha 3D came out, was like the comedy horror film, right?
Yeah.
And there was like 5 minutes where they were like, we're going to remake Jaws as a comedy. Do you remember this?
Maybe.
It was like a 5-minute conversation, and Tracy Morgan was in talks to play Matt Hooper.
You know what? If you play that straight, I think that could work.
Maybe. That'd be interesting.
I think Tracy Morgan has a depth of dramatic potential that hasn't been tapped into.
Also, when you brought up Conan, I just thought about when Tracy Jordan went on Conan and tried to stab him.
Whenever I think of Tracy Jordan, I always think of the little bit in the show within the show of 30 Rock. He's like, "It's farting! It's farting!" It's so stupid.
Don't make me show you the back of my hand.
Please don't hurt my feelings or whatever.
Got Tina Fey. There's another weird person, Tina Fey.
Yeah, she needs the confinement of primetime television to tone down her, let's just call them eccentricities, because 30 Rock's great. Problematic at times for sure, but it's fucking fantastic. It's a comedy that holds up. And then you see the first season of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and you're like, wow, this is pretty great. There's a little weird stuff in here, but there's a little really great. And then she starts writing with the freedom Netflix provides her. And it's like, oh, no.
Yeah. There's something with Tina Fey where it's like there will be jokes on 30 Rock where it's like, you just won comedy. Like, that's the funniest joke I've ever heard. And then she, like, resorts to, like, really, like, cheap, like, race humor, you know? Like... Where it's like anyone could have made that joke. Yeah. Like, it's not even clever, you know? Like, it's like, what the fuck is that? But
or I think my favorite was I like most of Tina Fey's work. I'm gonna dunk on her right now. But when she had like a couple like movies come out and they all bombed critically and financially.
Yeah.
And then she had an interview where she was like, well, you know, TV's like way better than movies nowadays. And then someone was like, well, yeah, if you're making the movies Tina Fey's making, I'm sure TV's great compared to movies. Which is unfortunate, but you know.
Well, it was like 30 Rock, The Office, and Parks and Recs were all on at the same time at one point on NBC.
And Community.
And Community.
It was like legendary.
Yeah.
That was like unbelievable.
And then someone at NBC was like, "What if we tanked one of these shows?"
Oh wow.
Imagine being an NBC executive and just you're doing well and you decide, but what if we didn't do well?
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, Day of the Dolphin.
Day of the Dolphin.
Is it more interesting than Rob Zombie's The Munsters, which is the second half of this episode now?
Absolutely not. The Munsters is amazing. One of the best movies of the year. I don't understand why people are not rallying around the Munsters. There is no bit here, by the way. I'm not being funny.
Yeah.
This movie's fucking outstanding. And I have to sit every fucking Halloween. I made this point on Twitter, but I'm gonna make it again because it drives me nuts. Every fucking Halloween, I have to sit through everyone talking about how Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie is a genius film, and then the Munsters trailer dropped, and suddenly everyone like lost their minds. And we're like, "What's Rob Zombie doing?" And I'm like, "You know exactly what he's doing. What the fuck are you talking about?" And then he made this perfect object, and people are like baffled by it. So Diego, what are you about to say?
I don't understand why people don't have media literacy and like the baseline media literacy anymore. Now, I don't think this is the home run that you just hyped it up as, but I really liked The Munsters. Mm-hmm. It is so clearly a movie made for literal 5-year-olds. How do any of you have the outright anger and annoyance in your body? Do you have nothing else going on in your life that you look at a movie like this and you're like, this, I'm going to destroy this. I'm going to make a riff track to this. Like, I don't know. It's cute and it's sweet and it's well meaning. I think it's got huge pacing problems. I can't really go to bat for it. Like,
yeah, it's a little long. That's like the thing.
It's like a little long.
It's a little long.
I think it's a little drawn out, and like it's like structurally, I don't know how well it holds up like as a movie. Mm-hmm. But what the? It was like a fun, cute watch, and the jokes are like really bad and funny. Like, yeah. It's intentional that they're bad. Mm-hmm. What? People think it was like an accident.
It's the Munsters. Has anyone watched the Munsters? Like,
apparently not.
Yeah, it's like I guess the thing is you hear Rob Zombie's The Munsters, right?
Yeah.
And you get like an image in your head that isn't this movie, you know?
Yeah.
Like you get like, oh, from the twisted mind of Rob Zombie, which I guess is what the executives were hoping for. And then Rob Zombie's like, no, I love the Munsters. I'm just going to do the Munsters. And then people are like, the fuck is this? Yeah, I had a great time watching it.
It is so fucking funny.
Yeah, it's one of those, it's also like where the jokes are like really dumb. Like these are some of the dumbest jokes I've seen in a while, you know?
Yeah.
But you get like you get into the rhythm of it, so like anytime like one of the jokes is made, it's like this is the fucking funniest shit I've ever seen.
Now, it's worth noting a couple things. This is a failed blockbuster season finale. This is technically a failed blockbuster because I believe, if I have my history correct, Universal Production, because they own the rights to the Munsters, they see what Rob Zombie's done, and they're like, what did you do?
We cannot release this, which is now like, I believe this is the second time this has happened with Rob Zombie and Universal.
What was the first one?
I believe that's the story with House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh, you know what? That makes a lot of sense, though.
He shot it for Universal, turned it in, and then they, like, were, like, appalled. And then he, like, had to shop it around to, like, other studios, and then he could only bring, like, parts of the movie with him. That's why that movie, like, falls apart in the third act. Because suddenly he, like, ran out of... He ran out of, like, all the scenes he had. Like, and he also gave some interview. I think whoever took it after Universal, he was giving an interview with like Jon Favreau, and he was like, oh, so I guess the movie's over at Warner Brothers now. And Rob Zombie gave an interview. He's like, Yeah, Universal said the movie was amoral. I guess that means Warner Brothers has no morals. And then Warner Brothers dumped the movie because of that comment.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, I don't love House of a Thousand Corpses, but that's very funny and unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but it's like, I think it was one of those ones where like it was like a year in post-production because he was trying to get someone to release it. Okay. And then Lionsgate finally did it, and it made money. Made enough to get money for Devil's Rejects. Yeah. So,
and Rob Zombie's also been very open about wanting to do other stuff besides like the grisly, grungy horror stuff he's known for.
He wants to do the Groucho Marx movie.
Yeah, he said he's not like actively chasing that anymore, but it's definitely it's not left his mind. Mm-hmm. And like the Munsters, like it's so clearly just like a movie for like literal babies. Why are any of you like upset about this?
Yeah, they're just doing dumb monster jokes for like almost 2 hours.
Yeah,
like I get that maybe you'd want it to be 90 minutes. I could agree with that.
But knock down to about 80 in my opinion. But
if you like put it on in the background, like it's a good like Halloween movie.
Yeah,
the fuck.
Citation needed, but apparently the budget was like $5 million. And
oh my god, he did a lot with that $5 million. Honestly, there's some great
production
sets.
budget wise, yeah. And I love. I mean, it does look kind of cheap, but like that's the Munsters.
But but like
what the fuck?
It's weird. It looks like they spent a lot of money to make it look cheap. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like
like I have not seen Creepshow yet, but I know a lot of the close-ups are accentuated by the comic book style backgrounds, and they do that here for the Munsters too. That's not cheap, You have to make individual reaction shots for that. Mm-hmm. It's constantly draped in color, and I actually like this note because Rob Zombie was like, I want to shoot it in black and white, and they were like, fuck no, you're not. And he was like, okay, well, if I can't make it in black and white, let me go the exact opposite direction.
The right call.
Add as much color as possible. And I was like, oh, okay, so now it's got like this buoyancy to it.
The Munsters have appeared in color before. Like it was a black and white show, but there are color like specials they did. And like they made Herman Munster way greener in this than he was in any of those.
Yeah,
which I'm fine
Daniel
with.
Roebuck is fantastic.
Oh my god, I was dying with the count. His shit was so fucking funny. Oh my god, it just worked. It was like, you're very kind, thank you. The kind I don't need, like shit, like jokes like that. So he's a little obsessed with the Black Plague. A man needs his hobbies.
Yeah.
Like, it's all Richard. Yeah. It's all jokes like that, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, Richard Brake, who I've always been a fan of, like gets a chance to do, like he still plays creepy here, but it's like so comedically creepy. He's in like a bunch of shit.
He was fucking Joe Chill in Batman Begins.
Yeah, he was the disgusting coroner in Halloween 2.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, the most repulsive like performance of history.
But here
he's like really funny.
He's two roles as Dr. Wolfgang and Orlok. Count Orlok makes an appearance.
Yeah. It was so fun. Like the makeup looks great too. Like I don't know what people want out of this stuff. Here, let me ask you this. What is your history with the Munsters? Because I don't have like a deep history or knowledge of them, but they've always been there and I've seen them before.
Here's an honest story from my life. This is true. The only argument I've ever had with my father where it got to the point where like both of us were yelling was one time I said I preferred the Addams Family to the Munsters. So, my dad's a huge Munsters fan.
Okay.
So that's the reason why I have seen less of the Munsters than the Addams Family. But it was always kind of on, I think TV Land played it a lot,
Oh,
either TV Land or like Nick at Night when they would do old shows. That's like how I've seen like a bunch of Bewitched and shit like that from back in the day. Mm-hmm. So like I'm aware of it, and it's about the same level of humor. Like it's very similar. Like, people are just constantly scared of Herman Munster, and he doesn't totally understand why. He's making dumb jokes all the time. He does the dumb laugh. What's weird is I am so used to Fred Gwynn as like the judge from My Cousin Vinny and like the guy from Pet Sematary, you know? Mm-hmm. And so like it's weird when like Herman Munster kind of fucked his career up for a little bit because he was so typecast. And he plays such a goof on the Munster show. It's such a different vibe than like when he's like a more of an authority figure in his later career. But yeah, it's a little weird. Like I know like a lot of Munster's stuff isn't even in the movie, which I thought was kind of strange.
Yeah, there's no Eddie Munster.
No Eddie Munster. The sister isn't there. There's the joke where she has a sister and she looks like a normal person, and so like therefore is like the ugly duck of the family because she doesn't have any monster traits. The fucking Dragula doesn't make an appear. The namesake for Rob Zombie's most popular song.
Yeah.
Which is Grandpa's car. She gets in a drag race in one episode. I know that one because that's one of the more popular episodes. Yeah, it's a little strange that this is essentially a prequel to the Munsters show, to the point where the ending of the movie is just the opening for the TV show. Mm-hmm. But
which I thought was very sweet.
Yeah, it was.
That really got me. I was like, yeah, I was kind of tired by the end of that, and I was like, oh no, this is really sweet. It's so clearly made with so much love too, you know.
It's also so clearly just a film about how Rob Zombie met Sherry Moon Zombie.
Oh yeah. Which is also worth noting. Sherry Moon Zombie. Rob Zombie's like the ultimate wife guy. Respect.
Open
Sherry
season.
Moon Zombie has some weird politics.
Oh yeah,
she's weird opinions about vaccinations.
She's a strange person, but hey, let's not look into that right now.
More praising the Munsters.
Yeah, we're talking about the Munsters. More importantly, she gives a very good performance as Lily Munster.
I don't know if that's most importantly, but she's very good here.
Most importantly, she does that. Also, it's open season on wife guys lately, so let's be careful.
Oh yeah.
Going in on praising the wife guy angle, but she gives a good performance.
She totally gets the vibe of this.
Yeah.
All these people completely like got the Munsters vibe.
And Jeff Daniel Phillips, who I don't know a ton of. Like I only know him from other Rob Zombie movies, really.
All right, I got this one because I know him from stuff like Faster. I believe he has an appearance in American Pickle. I don't know if you saw that. The Seth
I did not
Rogen.
see American Pickle. No.
Solid movie. The cinematographers. Something. Troll.
He was apparently in Undercover Brother 2, which is the first time I have found out there is an Undercover Brother 2.
Hang on, I just called the director something troll. His name is Brandon Trost, who directed American Pickle.
Oh, okay.
He's a cinematographer who's worked on a lot of Seth Rogen movies and actually shot Halloween 2. He's a great cinematographer, and he's a solid director. I'm looking forward to what he does next. I know Jeff Daniel Phillips from a single episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where he played Angmar the Screamer.
Oh, okay.
So, deep cut for all my old MCU heads.
Based on the Munsters, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep. But he's great. He's tons of fun in this. Give him more stuff.
And he has to deliver the corniest jokes imaginable, and he fucking kills it every time.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't. Are people just like poisoned to like sincere corniness now? Is that what it is?
There is a weird thing I've noticed, especially with younger people, where they don't understand that a director can make a deliberately like kind of arch, kind of goofy, kind of silly choice with a movie. You know. Like, you don't have to like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, but you have to understand all those choices were made for a reason. They weren't unaware of how corny they were. And people seem to people who like those movies seem to think it's like almost an accident that they're that corny. Which I'm just more baffled by than anything else. That like we've lost that thread. Whereas nowadays everything is very... I guess it's just because everything is so controlled now with the Marvel films.
I think, even though this is me not even going to, fully defend the Marvel films, but I'm going to say... we were talking earlier about how, these capitalist interests, kind of controlling, means of production, communities, environments, and, of course, art. And if art's going to be more diluted, then it's going to be less expressive. It's going to be less individually expressive. Even if, like, a group of individuals coming together to make a movie, that's expression. And, camp is maybe the most expressive. It's overly expressive. That's why it turns people off sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I think if you're not shown that, you're not going to understand it, and you're going to reject it at first. And if you don't get exposed to a lot of it, you're just going to keep outright rejecting it. And if you don't like this movie, it's totally fine. Because again, I do think it has a lot. I'm not as high on it as you are, but I do think it has pacing problems, and I can't really go to bat for as a movie.
But you know what? Here's something I do really appreciate about it, even though it's a little long. Those Addams Family movies that everyone loves those now, right? The Raul Julia starring Addams Family movies, and I like those movies a lot too. They're great, They're great to put on for. But there is such a trying to fit the Addams Family thing into a very conventional plot that also doesn't make any sense. The Addams Family. Both those movies have very obvious villains. They have incredibly weird why is Uncle Fester so much the center of the plots in all those stories?
I don't know.
The Addams Family movie is literally we're going to have a guy pretend to be Uncle Fester so he can get to the Addams Family fortune, but then it's going to turn out by the end of the movie that it actually was Uncle Fester, which is that doesn't make any sense. That's so silly, and it's we just need a plot to build a movie around. I kind of appreciate that the Munsters didn't really bother to do that. I kind of appreciate that the movie is literally just the Munsters, oh, here's how Herman Munster was made. Here's how they met. It's kind of just little vignettes, that there's no antagonist really. Even with Lester and his gambling addiction and all the debts he has, even with that, they're not villains trying to destroy the Munsters at all times,
Yeah.
So
there's the ex-wife.
Yeah, there's the ex-wife, but it's stuff just it's just we just watch each individual sequence play out, it's here's the creation of Herman Munster, here's Munster getting famous in show business, here's them meeting, here's them going on vacation, here's them getting married, here's them moving to suburbia. It's just that's just the movie. And I kind of appreciated the simplicity of it, that there wasn't an attempt to kind of stick it into a kind of convoluted really basic plot with an obvious villain of some kind,
Yeah, I'm not saying I needed the huge
that being said, it probably could
narrative conflict or anything like that.
It probably could have been 80 minutes or something, but
yeah, it's just a little long. But I also got to remember too, Rob Zombie never got a chance to make a movie like this before. I'm sure he wanted to indulge every opportunity possible to make it as family friendly comedy, because who knows if he's going to get a chance to do this again.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's going to be a no after this.
That's sad.
I mean, yeah, it's just how it is. But he made a great movie.
I also want to shout out Jorge Garcia.
Yes. Hurley
who is fantastic as Floop.
Yeah, he's great. Oh my God. He names Herman Munster.
Yeah. And people were upset that he named him after the sandwich he was eating. They're like, that's so dumb. And it's yeah, it is. But it's not an accident that it's dumb.
Yeah.
The character is dumb. That is the joke. Congratulations on not liking the joke.
There's an amazing scene because he's Herman's biggest supporter in his show business thing. So it's also Herman Munster is the product of the two gay dads, by the way, which is entirely in the subtext of the original Frankenstein film. But anyway, and so there's the one who's kind of very vain and not supportive, and then there's Floop who's very supportive. And there's the great scene where he's you got to do your Dirty Harry impression. And he's got Groucho Marx mustache on and a goofy hat, and he does a terrible Dirty Harry impression. And then he's gives me chills every time. It's oh my God, I can't. I was at a certain point I was laughing just because I kind of couldn't believe this is what the movie was. I was kind of amazed that. And the gag where it's oh, the renowned physicist has died on the same day as his brother, who is a terrible stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
And it's like both their bodies are being kept in the same morgue, and it's like, gee, I wonder what's going to happen with those bodies.
And then I was like, only a moron would mix up the two.
Yeah.
Let me reiterate that. Only an absolute moron.
Oh, it was great.
Also, do you know who that news reporter was?
Who was it?
Dee Wallace.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
the great Dee Wallace.
This is so weird. There's so many weird little cameos. It's not as stacked as Rob Zombie's other films, where like he seems to get all his horror convention pals to be in one movie.
Yeah.
But it's got a lot of people in it, and it's like incredibly strange cameos. And then also, for no reason, a lot of people playing like multiple roles for reasons that don't make a lot of sense. But
I don't really understand why Daniel Roebuck plays.
Why he's also the news anchor. Like,
yeah. What,
but it's funny.
Is there like a reason? It's very funny, but like, is there like a narrative reason for it? Maybe
I don't know. But they did it.
They did it. They sure did.
Also, fucking Sylvester McCoy's in this. Fucking Doctor Who is in this.
Yes. Radagast the Brown.
Yeah.
Which, say what you will about the Hobbit movies. That dude got the vibe.
Yeah.
And did you ever see his welcome video to the new Doctor?
No, I did not.
Yeah, it's very sweet. I'm gonna put that as the outro for this.
Okay.
I'll send it to you after. But it's very sweet. He's telling like, welcome to their little exclusive club. It's like it's great to have another Scott there finally, and like it's very sweet. It's very welcoming, and he seems like a real class act.
I also remember when they did the 5-ish Doctors. Did you ever see that?
No.
It was during the Doctor Who 50th anniversary. And it was like they weren't going to do an episode where all the Doctors came back. Like, they just did kind of the newer guys. And so they made a little like TV movie called The 5-ish Doctors, which is all the old Doctor Who's that are still around trying to get back into the Doctor Who TV series.
Oh.
And it's just them like going to conventions and stuff and like trying to like harass like Stephen Moffat and shit like that.
Oh, that's funny.
I remember it being pretty cute. It was fun.
Yeah.
For what it was.
I saw the Doctor Who Day of the Doctor.
Oh yeah. That was incredibly fine.
Yeah, it's solid.
John Hurt as suddenly there's another Doctor.
Oh yeah, it's like, we forgot one.
Oh no, we didn't forget one. One person isn't returning his calls and wants nothing to do with the Doctor Who franchise ever again.
Oh no, but he was in the little prequel to that.
Was he?
Yeah. Patrick McGann, I think is his name. Let me check.
No, I'm talking about the other guy. Fucking Ninth Doctor. I can't remember his name.
Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah, the guy who's like hates the Queen. Yeah,
right.
Who's like he did like one season of Doctor Who and was like, I'm done with this.
But he got like blacklisted because he's like so fucking vocal anti-establishment and shit.
Mm. I mean,
he's a good fucking actor.
He is a good actor, but I think that was the thing where he was kind of like, I'm an actor. I'm not doing this Doctor Who shit anymore.
Aww.
But hey, whatever.
Maybe says a lot that he's my favorite, but he's also my first one, so that's why he's like,
It honestly worked out in a weird way because it was like, okay, you get one season with this guy, so like it sets people up for the Doctor regeneration thing earlier. I think that's why New Doctor Who had a longer longevity than people maybe expected. That happened so early. Seems to be not as big these days anymer. But,
no, I think it's sort of died down.
Yeah.
Like it's too much almost,
Yeah. Stephen Moffat, weird guy.
Oh, he's not running it anymore though.
Yeah, but I think he's very responsible for the position the Doctor Who franchise is in.
I would agree.
So, yeah. It's crazy that fucking Peter Capaldi was the Doctor.
That is pretty wild. Great actor.
Yeah, and they kind of didn't use him very well.
Well, the other person who took over, I forget her name, but she was in Attack the Block. She's a great actress.
Yeah, Jenna Coleman.
Thank you. No, Jodie Whittaker.
Jodie Whittaker. I don't know why I said Jenna Coleman. Probably because I was looking at the name Jenna Coleman.
Jenna Coleman was the...
Yeah, she was Clara Oswald.
Yeah.
Now, Jodie Whittaker's great. I've heard there's some good stuff in the new Doctor Who's. But again, I think it's turned into like for a show where I just like I wait a little bit and then I just look up a best of list and I just watch those. I used to be a little more obsessive about it, but now I've maybe watched enough Doctor Who.
Yeah, it'd be fun to like direct an episode or something like that.
Maybe, I don't know.
If I think they got to stop doing the serialization.
Yeah, they got to stop doing the overarching thing. Like, I'll be honest, I think that was the one thing like Russell T Davies really did right was that like there was like an overarching plot to each season, but it kind of only mattered for like the first episode, the last 2 episodes, and then like one in the middle, like, and then everything else kind of stood on its own. I think that helps for people jumping on board, but I don't know.
You know, I think this is a complete inverse of why the Munsters worked for you, maybe. But like, I think that's something that's television is missing in general right now.
Yeah,
is that like, you know, not everything needs like an overt serialization. I think that's why a lot of people are really drawn to something like Abbott Elementary right now, which I really like as well. And it's just like, you know, you want to pop in once in a while. That's totally fine. Not everything needs your undying devotion on a weekly basis. And it's also fun, like, I'm sure as creatives, to just come up with like a one-off story. It's like, I have this idea for like a science fiction story. I don't really have anything to hang it on yet. Oh, I'm in the Doctor Who's writing staff. Yeah, let me see. I think I can crack this episode. Oh, here's that idea I have. Let me see how it works in the confines of Doctor Who. There you go. There's a story right there. You know. Yeah. But we don't really get to experiment like that anymore because everything needs to be so serialized. And,
for binge watching.
A mini-series. Or it's actually one long movie, and the next person that says that should be hung in the streets.
Well, it's weird. It's like they just announced, like I think Netflix announced they're moving away from the binge model. Like they want to, but like they're gonna still make them to be binged. Is the problem? Like they're not gonna change that. Why would they?
Fucking hopefully not, but we will see.
Yeah. But if you want fucking better art, watch the Munsters. Frankly, I mean, like this is totally like. Not what a studio would ever put out, very clearly, because they just sold it to Netflix. Like they clearly will, and Universal has their own streaming service, by the way.
Yeah,
like they didn't even bother to do that.
Yeah.
So I think The Munsters is a beautiful little movie, and I highly recommend it.
I am going to buy the Blu-ray.
Yeah, same. I'm gonna own it. It looks, the colors just fucking pop in this thing too.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, even if I like hated this movie, which I had the kind of the opposite reaction to. Again, I don't love it as much as you do, but I really had a blast with it. The colors are so like vibrant and rich, and like remember lighting, you know, remember direction. It's all here. It's the baseline quality of a feature film, and it's here. And that's cool. And I'll go on record saying, without a doubt, this is going to be better made than the Wednesday Addams miniseries.
Yeah. Is that out yet? When does that drop? Is it gonna be? Is it like gonna drop like November 1st? Like they're not even gonna release it for Halloween. Like,
November 23rd. It's worse.
Jesus Christ!
I know.
Thanksgiving.
I know. Tim Burton's like directing on that, right?
Yeah. Well, that's weird. Where like he hasn't done like anything for a few years now, and like it's like Wednesday.
And here's the cast for the Wednesday Addams series is perfectly.
Yeah,
exceptional. Jen Ortega, modern day scream queen. She's incredible. Louise Guzman, the Goose,
perfect choice for Gomez, frankly.
Catherine Zeta-Jones is Morticia, another perfect choice. Like you got talent. It's not going to be their fault that it's going to be bad.
Yeah, it's going to be Tim Burton's fault.
Yeah.
It would be weird though if Tim Burton there's always that hope that a guy like Tim Burton just kind of fucking puts it together again, you know?
I think he's just done.
I think so too, yeah. But like you want to hope, right?
Yeah. Like, it'd be great. It'd be great to like go to bat for him, but I was talking to someone else too, and they're like, "You're not excited about it?" I'm like, "No, it's fucking Tim Burton." And they're like, "Yeah, I love Tim Burton." I'm like, "What's the last Tim Burton movie you loved though?" And they're like, "Oh, you know, like I really love Sleepy Hollow." And I was like, "What else has he done since then?"
Yeah.
And they're like, Nightmare Before Christmas. And I was like, "No, you're thinking about Corpse Bride," which I also do kind of like, but I don't like love. And then besides that, it's like big fish I'll go to bat for, and then there's nothing. There's nothing for 20 years.
You know what's sad is they also they canceled that Sabrina show they were working on, which was kind of the other like Wednesday Adam type show, you know?
Yeah.
The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. That was solid for what it was.
Okay, I didn't see it yet. Because I just tapped out of Riverdale.
Not like amazing, but it's like solid. And like, but you know, if you get, that's the Netflix thing where like you get invested in these shows and they just cancel them. Like, why stick around? There's nothing. Don't you want to have like multiple shows that are attracting people? Whatever. I don't know. I'm not in charge of these companies.
No.
Like I said before the podcast, if these executives didn't know what they were doing, they wouldn't be there. Play me off, Paul.
You know what? I don't know what executive I have to thank for the Munsters. But
yeah, someone got fired over it. You know someone got fired over it.
See, produced by Rob Zombie. That's a good sign.
That's a good
sign.
That's
it.
That's all right. Yeah, Rob Zombie. Well, there's also, you know, the Brian Fuller Munster thing, right?
Yes, I was going to bring that up. Mockingbird Lane.
Which was I believe it was like, it's a special, right? And it was supposed to be like a backdoor pilot, and then it didn't get picked up.
I never saw it, though.
Because they aired it at like midnight. Like, it was one of those, I think, like, they wanted it, and then they like got it and like decided, oh, we don't want this, and they kind of just dumped it in October one year. It's solid for what it is. It's like that is though, like, it's not a comedy, it's like a dark version of the Munsters, you know?
Oh,
like,
okay.
It's like they're actual monsters in it. And it's got Eddie Izzard and Jerry O'Connell, and I remember liking it. It's a shame it didn't get picked up, and I feel like it was one of those, I remember when it was announced, it was like peak, let's reboot everything dark and gritty. Like, and people were like, you're going to do a dark and gritty version of the Munsters? Fuck you. Like, people were like really upset. I remember people being really upset about that. And then it was good, but then like it got lost in just like the wave of shit like that. And now the Munsters comes out and people are like, Mockingbird Lane was the right idea. And I was like, you fuckers. Like,
yeah, fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Well, at least Brian Fuller's got that Christine in the works.
Yeah. You can never trust the Brian Fuller thing is going to come out until it comes out, though.
I know.
God,
and even then, it's like, he'll probably get replaced.
What is going on there? Like,
I'm assuming, because he's got a lot of regulars.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm assuming he's great to work with. My theory is that because his stuff is like genuinely like it's so filled with artistry and patience and time, I'm willing to bet he's a little over time and over budget on a regular basis. I don't think that's a problem, but the money people sure do.
Yeah. I've heard he's like one of those guys who like does everything when he's working on a show. Like, he kind of like drives himself insane.
Okay.
So I heard from someone who was like, they were like, yeah, I did a guest spot on one of his shows, and like I met him for maybe 5 minutes because he was like running between like 7 different departments. Like,
oh my goodness.
You know. That's also the stories where you hear like there were like 17 units on like Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
And like Sam Raimi like was in charge of all of them. Like I mean, some people just can't. I mean, I guess you just go insane, you know?
Yeah.
But goddamn, he should have been the guy who was doing Star Trek. Like,
I know.
It's so.
Well, his idea, right, for Discovery.
Well, what was it? Just maybe
it was every season was going to be a standalone story, and it would cover different time periods throughout the Star Trek history, following different ships or different crews, either on the Discovery or on a different ship. And Discovery would either be literal or figurative.
Wow, that sounds like a great idea. It makes sense they didn't do it.
Yeah, it also would have been a little expensive. And again, that's not a me problem. That's the money people problem. Being like, well, we can't.
It's not like Star Trek fans literally buy anything with the word Star Trek written on it.
Yeah, there's like fucking how many Star Trek shows right now? Yeah,
there's like 7 Star Trek shows, and they keep re-releasing things with like new features. Like, so you have to buy everything. Like, but I'm willing to blame Akiva Goldsman. who seems to get attached to things and just they're all.
Well, here right now there's Discovery, Picard, Strange New Worlds,
which
Lower
is supposed
Decks,
to be good.
Prodigy. That's 5 shows.
Yeah. Is Prodigy
That's 5
good?
shows.
I haven't heard a single thing about Prodigy since it came out.
I haven't either, but it's that's like a kid show on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
You know.
But I mean, that doesn't mean it's not bad. That doesn't mean it's bad.
No. I'm just saying, like, I'm willing to give that one more of a pass than Star Trek Picard or Star Trek Discovery, which has both of those are like 2 of the worst pilots I've seen in years.
Yeah,
like that was like shockingly bad.
Who directed those? Was it what's his fuck? Kurtzman? He tried to be a director for like 5 minutes.
No, someone named Hanelle M. Culpepper directed the first episode of Picard. I'm sorry, she that wasn't very convincing to check out her other work.
Mm-hmm.
And Star Trek Discovery, the first director was David Semmel.
Mm.
I don't know who that is. It's a traditional TV guy.
It doesn't look like Kurtzman tried to direct anything for any of these shows.
No. Akiva Goldsman directed the 3rd episode of Star Trek Discovery.
I think Goldsman is like actually like a Star Trek fan. Like I think he really likes Star Trek, so
which makes sense.
He's just not talented. Alex Kurtzman directed the first episode of season 2. How about that Dark Universe?
They should bring it back.
They should.
Just bring it back. Fight everyone. Lose more money.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the last movie he's credited on is The Mummy.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
And then, like, what's his fuck, like, just has disappeared. Like,
yeah. I mean, they were working on, like, every job in Hollywood as screenwriters. Like, they took every fucking job. So they made a lot of money.
Yeah, no,
and
they're
you know
rich.
What? If not for being a 9/11 truther, I would say I respect that hustle for Roberto Orci and just fucking vanish to the wind. You fuck up the industry with your screenplays and then you just vanish. Okay, I almost respect that. I don't know what. Roberto Orci was just hired by Sony to write a script for an untitled Marvel film.
He was hired in March 2020, so. That was 2 years ago. So
that's probably canceled by now. We'll see how what's the next one? The Craven movie.
They're filming Craven, which is psychotic.
Yeah. It's J.C. Chandor.
I know, that's it.
Like, you know what it was? That dude probably just couldn't get a regular job in Hollywood.
Yeah. He probably just needs money. Like, you kind of, at a certain point, you do need to take a job for money in Hollywood.
Yeah, I listened to his conversation with Tony Gilroy around the time Triple Frontier was coming out, and he was saying that, like, it was a little hard. It's like, it was hard for him to get any directing jobs. Like, it was like Margin Call, All Is Lost, Most Violent Year back to back, and then it was like nothing. Like, stuff kept falling through, and then Triple Frontier.
3 outstanding movies.
Mm-hmm.
And,
And then Triple Frontier, which is solid. It's solid. It's I don't like it that much, but I don't dislike it. I could see why he was the guy to do it. I kind of wish Catherine Bigelow had done it. Mm-hmm. But talented director, and then he comes back with Kraven the Hunter, and it's like, oh, man. That's how bad things are right now?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That's Ariana DeBose's next movie.
Yeah.
She was just in West Side Story, fucking killing it.
Mm-hmm.
She won an Oscar.
I mean, there's a lot of people that are just like, I guess that's what you do now.
Yeah. She's playing Calypso. I never thought I'd see Calypso on. I don't want to see. I don't care about that character.
Taylor Johnson described his take on Kraven the Hunter as an animal lover and protector of the natural world.
It's followed by the subtitle of Kraven, a big game hunter.
Yeah.
Which is, like, hilarious.
The movie is called Kraven the Hunter. Like, what? It's just so... It's like Kraven's Last Hunt is like one of the best Spider-Man stories of all time, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's
outside.
And it's like... This is like, you couldn't even get to that. Like, you could, like...
One of the pitches for the third Homecoming film was a Craven movie that John Watts had in mind, and that was after the fallout with Marvel and Sony. And then when Marvel and Sony got back together, they were like, well, put all your characters in this one then. And then that was like, okay, we're scrapping that idea then. And Tom Holland liked it so much that he won't talk about the idea in case he gets to do it eventually. Which doesn't, I mean, whatever. I like Tom Holland. Maybe he doesn't have the best interest, like, best story instincts either. But, you know, it's like, okay, I could see how you do Craven after that second movie, at least.
But also, John Watts isn't, like, a great director. So.
I think he's also been lost to it. Much like another Marvel director, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, you know, yeah, like, what the... Craven, who cares about that? Oh, and then Ryan Coogler wanted to do Craven in one of the Black Panther movies. And now it's like, well, now you can't, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Things are weird.
Yeah.
Imagine what would have happened if they just hadn't, like, decided to, like, bet it all on Venom with Spider-Man 3.
Damn.
Like, you wouldn't be in this problem, Sony. I guess they're happy. I guess they're making money, but
yeah,
you know, you probably would have a stronger franchise. But hey.
Anyways, Rob Zombie's The
Munsters is great. It's on Netflix. Put it on.
Yeah. It's a children's film.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like it, people are really weird about how angry they're being about it. Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
I've seen what makes you clap. You know? I've seen you all cheer at the stupidest shit. Like, don't act like you're above this.
But also, like, I gotta be honest. Like, I'm not trying to, like, beat a dead horse. I just don't understand the people that are like, Halloween 2 is like this brilliant film.
Oh, it is.
Know? And like, yeah, sure, whatever. But, like, to see those same people turn around and then be like, yeah, but The Munsters is where I draw the line.
There is a film critic I really like reading. Hang on, let me pull up her account really quickly. Because she had some great writing on The Munsters. Willow Caitlin McClay. I subscribed to her Patreon. She's been doing a Twin Peaks coverage lately. She just got to Firewalk with me. And she loved Rob Zombie's The Munsters. I'll read the opening sentences really quick on her coverage on that. She said, Zombie has continually proven he is among the most exciting and dynamic mainstream filmmakers for going on 2 decades now. With each and every film that he makes, he endears himself further to his audience in a way that is not entirely dissimilar from the rabid passion that certain people have for a director like Kevin Smith, though Zombie is infinitely more talented, interesting, and willing to evolve. Apart from the Kevin Smith slander, I don't much like his films either. I would agree that Zombie is not getting his credit at this point. Like, I just think he's got too much going on in his stuff.
Here's the thing, like, I don't like his Halloween remakes, but, like, they are interesting, you know? Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I don't think they're foolish endeavors. And I have that feeling with a lot of his movies where, like, sometimes they don't really click for me, but I'm, like, glad he tried. And that's why I watch The Munsters. Like, I still show up for his movies because it's like, well, that one didn't work, but he's trying shit. And there are so few directors that feel like they're willing to do that anymore, you know? And I'm always looking for him to surprise me, and he kind of did with The Munsters.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I haven't seen 31 yet. Is 31 any good?
It fizzles out at the end because that's another one he ran out of money on.
Yeah.
He's had to finance his own stuff for a while now.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
It sucks. It really does.
Yeah. Again, it's like, I've seen what you people clap at. Like, just give him $2 million and talk his wife out of being an anti-vaxxer. And hopefully him too.
Yeah, hopefully that doesn't cross over to him.
We'll just we'll put a pin in that for now.
We'll keep an eye on those things.
Yeah.
But
the Munsters. It's fucking Halloween. Go.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Go watch it.
I watched it literally like on September 30th, so it was a great way to kind of start the spooky season off.
Yeah. Matt, this is the end of the Phil blockbusters.
What a disaster.
No, because we ended with the Munsters instead of Day of the Dolphin.
Yeah, we were lucky. We were lucky the Munsters came out.
What?
We were also lucky that Don't Worry, Darling made money.
Oh, I did see that actually.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
No such thing as bad press. I read the plot synopsis on Wikipedia because fuck that.
Okay. Yeah, it's just whatever. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, but I didn't
I made a joke about what I thought the ending of the movie would be, and then it turned out that's what the ending of the movie was.
It's not that clever. Someone described it as like a white woman watching Get Out, and then them appropriating Get Out and being like,
"Well, yeah, that was what was weird about the trailers is that like there was imagery in those trailers that was like that's just Get Out, like you're lifting directly from that, and it's like unless you're a genius, I'm assuming you're not using those shots correctly."
Olivia Wilde's not untalented as a director.
Yeah, I would honestly agree with that.
Maybe
needs a better script.
Maybe get a different co-writer next time.
And maybe don't do everything that allegedly happened on the set of that movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people are just being misogynistic about it, so I've been hesitating to
I'm telling you, I've seen this story. I've seen this story play out too many fucking times. Yeah. Like, I'm telling you, we're gonna find out that like Jason Sudeikis like drowns puppies or something, and like made Olivia Wilde watch, and that's why she left. So I think the mic cut out when I was saying Jason Sudeikis drowns puppies.
Yeah, or maybe Jason Sudeikis has eyes and ears everywhere.
Maybe he was learning to shut me down.
Yeah, just for context, Matt's laptop died. So that's why
my laptop died. I was making a point that like I know.
Or like, Jason Sudeikis shut it down.
10 years from now, we're gonna point to this moment as like when a feminist backlash kicked in our culture. And
hey, I mean,
it's probably not incorrect, probably. But that doesn't mean the movie's good. But
I'm not going to name any other cases happening right now. But I think, considering what celebrity cases are going to trial right now and getting a lot of media coverage, we're seeing a lot of, hey, maybe this woman is a dirty liar, instead of like, hey, here's empirical evidence that this person did bad things to their spouse and kids. And I don't know, worth reading into that.
Yeah.
And we should just not rush to. And then Constance Wu just came out and said, she got so much backlash and criticism, and it was overwhelming, and she was going through it, and no one really took the time to listen to her. She sent out some tweets because she was going through it on a popular program she was on. Behind the scenes, there was sexual harassment and horrible comments and actions done against her, and she was venting publicly, and people were like, hey, be grateful you're working and shit. And it's like, hey, maybe you don't know what these people are going through.
Yeah.
Maybe you should not, rush to someone's attack or defense, and just listen once in a while. I don't know. Did people forget how to listen? Possibly. That's all I have to say about that for now, though.
No, it's unfortunately it seems to be a fairly regular occurrence in our culture, but people like gossipy bullshit for whatever reason. That's why I now know who the Try Guys are.
Oh, I don't know who those are yet, but I feel like they try out things.
Yeah, let me break it down to these guys.
I don't. Let's just wrap up.
And they try things. It's a very they made an industry out of this. Because like I said, capitalism has destroyed all sense of community. So the fucking Try Guys are our community now.
Yeah, I hated that.
Watch the Munsters. The Munsters, great stuff.
Yeah, Munsters, great stuff. Day of the Dolphin, not so great, but I am buying that poster, and I'll buy the Blu-ray of the Munsters because it's cute and fun, and stop being weird about it. Matt, that's it. Failed blockbusters are over this season.
Yes. Next up, we got Halloween Ends.
Oh my god, I forgot. I keep fucking forgetting.
Yeah.
We will see. I have heard conflicting reports about screenings of that film. I don't know what happens. I just heard two separate screenings had two very separate reactions. So
it looks, without saying anything, it looks very scaled back compared to the last one.
Yeah, which might be the right move.
Yeah, it might be the right move, but I can understand if maybe people aren't expecting that.
Yeah, yeah. Watch it be like a masterpiece, but horror fans like hate it. Like,
it'll
that'd be funny.
Well, it's weird where it's like it's gone mainstream in these last two. Like,
yeah,
the average person responded fairly strongly to Halloween Kills. Like,
yeah. I was talking to some friends yesterday, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I like Kills more than 2018. It's like maybe like top 3 of the franchise for me." And I was like, "What the fuck planet am I on?" Because I did not have that reaction to that movie.
I do like that movie for all its mistakes.
I know.
But I do like it.
Yeah, we'll talk about Halloween Kills.
And then we might do something else for Halloween.
Yeah, I think I've tweeted about it, but we'll. I think we know what we're doing for Halloween,
and then
I'm really looking forward to that.
And then we'll figure out what happens next.
Yes, yes. Happy Amblin's just watching us from a distance in the clouds.
I think we might be able to find time to work in some, but like it depends on our schedules, I guess. So
yeah.
Because my November gets a little hectic, so
yeah, my stuff's getting a little busy right now, so we're gonna figure something out.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure. It'll all be great.
Yes,
we're all great here.
We're all fine.
How are you? Matt, thank you for this retrospective idea. It's always a blast recording with you. I appreciate you, your conversation, and your friendship.
I do like this setup just because it allows us to discuss like a wide range of film, like a wide array of films.
Yeah. What's the last franchise we did? I don't even remember.
Did we do any franchise in this? Like,
we haven't done any franchises in a while.
Yeah, which I feel good about, honestly.
Yeah, I think we've exhausted the big ones at least.
Yeah, the ones that like we at least are interested in talking about.
Yeah, there might be like another one down the line, but like I don't.
I could see us maybe doing a Nightmare on Elm Street one.
Ooh,
because like,
there you go. That's the one.
Those films are very good.
Or at least interesting.
Yeah.
Good. Well, there's one, but whatever.
There's a lot to mine there, I guess. But yeah, I don't know if there's any franchises that like. You did text something about a franchise we should do, but I can't even remember. Every now and then, Diego will send me ideas, and I'm like, no. But we'll figure it out. We got some. We got to get through Happy Amblin though. Like that's gonna be a fucking multi-year project apparently.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be our legacy.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Oh yeah, people are
for some reason conservative people find it and then get really angry at the stuff we upload. I don't know why that keeps happening to that one.
It's a Happy Amblin.
Yeah,
I mean, well, we know Spielberg's. I mean, we know Sandler's target market. That might be it.
I guess so.
I also think there are people that just want to like, yeah, let's dunk on Adam Sandler, and then like we'll go in and like talk about fucking the Cold War or some shit, like, and everyone's all like confused.
Hey, but you know what people really do like, unironically, is Monkey Bone.
Oh, they did not care for our not liking Monkey Bone.
No, they liked it. It's just for some reason it's like one of the more popular uploads I've had. In a long time
that's good.
There, and
I'm still shocked that I'm shocked that JFK one did well.
Yeah, well, it did well on like SoundCloud and Spotify, and let me check what did it. It's got like less than 100 views on YouTube, which is about right.
Yeah, I think. I think also YouTube has like tried to like stifle conspiracy talk on the website a little bit, like, so the algorithm might have come down on that episode.
Yeah. Fucking Tough Guys Don't Dance has more views on YouTube than JFK.
Wild.
Which is hysterical.
Wild.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, that was a great season of failed blockbusters. Next time, we'll try to pick stuff that doesn't end on a downer.
Yeah.
Maybe we should kind of like, if we haven't seen something, we should front load it with that.
Yeah. Well, this was one where I think we originally wanted to do a shorter version of failed blockbusters, and then we just kept adding movies.
Yeah.
And so it ended up a lot longer than we originally intended.
Oh my god, I just remembered the last franchise we did was Scream.
Oh,
and we're gonna talk about Scream 6 next year.
Yeah. At least Kirby's back.
Yeah. If she fucking dies in the cold open, I'm gonna leave the theater. I want you to know that right now, and I will talk about it. I will talk about it. And then I will let you talk about it.
You know what I realized? They did a documentary called You Can't Kill David Arquette.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
forgot that.
Well, I guess the writers and directors of Scream 5 didn't see that. Haha.
I bet you they'll find a way to bring him back.
They'll have him do a tape like fucking Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah, no, I think like it could be like, I knew what was getting too rough, so I had to fake my death.
Oh.
And it was the only way to get away from it all.
No, I don't think they're like stupid. I just don't think like their thing works like at all.
Yeah. But still, fucking bring him back. Who cares?
Who gives a shit anymore? Is Nev Campbell even in it?
I think she says she's done after a certain point.
Okay.
And so maybe she's not.
I know they weren't paying her worth and shit, so she's like, fuck this, and I respect that.
Yeah.
It's her fucking franchise. Anyways, okay, failed blockbusters. Wrapping up. We'll see you for Halloween Kills. Matt, again, thanks so much for everything.
Yes,
where can the people find you?
This is great, and I love doing it.
Okay, good. Me too.
John Waters is doing a movie.
What?
It says John Waters is set to write and direct a movie for Village Roadhouse. First gig since 2004.
You know what? That fucking rules. Let's fucking bring it on.
Yeah. Who knows?
Fucking remind people what actual shocking cinema is.
Yeah. Or John Waters comes out and makes something that's like, wait, no. Like, we could have done without that.
I know. He's got like a weird conservative bone in his body or something like that we just never saw before.
Yeah. Yeah, it says it's on Deadline. It says he's going to do a movie.
All right. Hey, Deadline, for all their lack of sourcing, is pretty accurate. Yeah. So
they got that network.
Yeah.
They got that. They got those.
They're like less scuzzy TMZ. TMZ fucking reports a lot of facts for some reason.
Yeah, I mean,
about when people die, it's like always true, which is fucked up and weird. Mm-hmm. That's not an endorsement. I'm just saying it's fucked up and weird.
That just means they fucking cornered like hospitals.
Yeah,
like they have someone in every hospital.
It's so fucked up. Yeah.
Imagine if you knew that was your coworker.
God, I would not be friends with them. Mm. I would avoid them as often as possible.
But you know that means that they're like going around asking people questions like everywhere all the time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, so I heard what's his face is on this level. How's he doing?
Yeah. Like, that's why there's that scene in Nope.
How much do you think you get money for just giving like that information though?
You get a couple $100s, I think.
Yeah, but it feels like that's a network you got to support there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Whatever. TMZ is run by monsters, so.
Yeah. All right. Where can the people find you?
I'm at Emperor OTN1 at twitter.com.
Emperor TMZ1?
Hey!
I don't know what the fuck. And you can find me at the Diego Crespo. Check out the Waffle Press on Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, and Patreon, where you cannot get early access to the next thing we do because Halloween Kills isn't out yet, and it won't be out for like another week after this goes up at least.
Yeah, and then we'll have to record it at some point, so...
Yeah. Well, I'll try to clear a weekend or something like that. I think until Halloween, it's like pretty good. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe if you didn't like this. Like, subscribe anyways because you might find something you do like. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We have been professionally on.
Goodbye, Judy Foster. Goodbye, Jonathan Demme. Goodbye.
Greetings from Transylvania. That's a strange way of saying hello.
Oh, I guess we're gonna have to get used to it.